The Rules of Civility and Decent Behavior in Company and Conversation, as written by George Washington. Every action done in company ought to be with some sign of respect to those that are present. When in company, put not your hands to any part of the body, not usually discovered. Show nothing to your friend that may affright him. In the presence of others, sing not to yourself with a humming noise, nor drum with your fingers or feet. If you cough, sneeze, sigh, or yawn, do it not loud but privately, and speak not in your yawning, but put your handkerchief or hand before your face and turn aside. Sleep not when others speak, sit not when others stand, speak not when you should hold your peace, walk not on when others stop. Put not off your clothes in the presence of others, nor go out your chamber half-dressed. At play and at fire it's good manners to give place to the last comer, and affect not to speak louder than ordinary. Spit not in the fire, nor stoop low before it. Neither put your hands into the flames to warm them, nor set your feet upon the fire, especially if there be meat before it. When you sit down, keep your feet firm and even, without putting one on the other or crossing them. Shift not yourself in the sight of others, nor gnaw your nails. Shake not the head, feet, or legs. Roll not the eyes. Lift not one eyebrow higher than the other. Wry not the mouth, and bedew no man's face with your spittle by approaching too near him when you speak. Kill no vermin as fleas, lice, ticks in the sight of others. If you see any filth or thick spittle, put your foot dexterously upon it. If it be upon the cloths of your companions, put it off privately. And if it be upon your own cloths, return thanks to him who puts it off. Turn not your back to others, especially in speaking. Jog not the table or desk on which another reads or writes. Lean not upon anyone. Keep your nails clean and short, also your hands and teeth clean, yet without showing any great concern for them. Do not puff up the cheeks, loll not out the tongue, rub the hands or beard, thrust out the lips or bite them or keep the lips too open or too close. Be no flatterer, neither play with any that delights not to be played withal. Read no letters, books, or papers in company, but when there is a necessity for the doing of it, you must ask leave. Come not near the books or writings of another, so as to read them unless desired, or give your opinion of them unasked. Also, look not nigh when another is writing a letter. Let your countenance be pleasant, but in serious matters somewhat grave. The gestures of the body must be suited to the discourse you are upon. Reproach none for the infirmities of nature, nor delight to put them that have in mind thereof. Shew not yourself glad at the misfortune of another, though he were your enemy. When you see a crime punished, you may be inwardly pleased, but always show pity to the suffering offender. Do not laugh too loud or too much at any public spectacle. Superfluous compliments and all affectation of ceremony are to be avoided, yet where due, they are not to be neglected. In pulling off your hat to persons of distinction, as noblemen, justices, churchmen, etc., make a reverence, bowing more or less according to the custom of the better bred and quality of the person. Amongst your equals, expect not always that they should begin with you first, but to pull off the hat when there is no need is affectation. In the manner of saluting and resaluting in words, keep to the most usual custom. 'Tis ill manners to bid one more eminent than yourself be covered, as well as not to do it to whom it is due likewise. He that makes too much haste to put on his hat does not well, yet he ought to put it on at the first, or at most the second time of being asked. Now what is herein spoken, of qualification in behavior in saluting, ought also to be observed in taking of place, and sitting down for ceremonies without bounds is troublesome. If anyone come to speak to you while you are sitting, stand up, though he be your inferior. And when you present seats, let it be to everyone according to his degree. When you meet with one of greater quality than yourself, stop and retire, especially if it be at a door or any straight place, to give way for him to pass. In walking, the highest place in most countries seems to be on the right hand. Therefore, place yourself on the left of him whom you desire to honor. But if three walk together, the middle place is the most honorable. The wall is usually given to the most worthy if two walk together. If anyone far surpasses others, either in age, estate, or merit, yet would give place to a meaner than himself in his own lodging or elsewhere, the one ought not to accept it. So he on the other part should not use much earnestness, nor offer it above once or twice. To one that is your equal, or not much inferior, you are to give the chief place in your lodging, and he to who 'tis offered ought at the first to refuse it, but at the second to accept, though not without acknowledging his own unworthiness. They that are in dignity or in office have in all places precedence, but whilst they are young, they ought to respect those that are their equals in birth or other qualities, though they have no public charge. It is good manners to prefer them to whom we speak before ourselves, especially if they be above us, with whom in no sort we ought to begin. Let your discourse with men of business be short and comprehensive. Artificers and persons of low degree ought not to use many ceremonies to lords or others of high degree, but respect and highly honor them, and those of high degree ought to treat them with affability and courtesy, without arrogance. In speaking to men of quality, do not lean nor look them full in the face, nor approach too near them. At least keep a full pace from them. In visiting the sick, do not presently play the physician if you do not know therein. In writing or speaking, give to every person his due title, according to his degree and the custom of the place. Strive not with your superiors in argument, but always submit your judgment to others with modesty. Undertake not to teach your equal in the art himself professes. It savors of arrogance. Let thy ceremonies and courtesy be proper to the dignity of his place with whom thou converses, for it is absurd to act the same with a clown and a prince. Do not express joy before one sick or in pain, for that contrary passion will aggravate his misery. When a man does all he can, though it succeeds not, well, blame not him that did it. Being to advise or reprehend anyone, consider whether it ought to be in public or in private, presently or at some other time, in what terms to do it, and in reproving show no sign of choler, but do it with all sweetness and mildness. Take all admonitions thankfully, in what time or place soever given, but afterwards, not being culpable, take a time and place convenient to let him know it that gave them. Mock not, nor jest at anything of importance. Break no jests that are sharp, biting, and if you deliver anything witty and pleasant, abstain from laughing thereat yourself. Wherein you reprove another, be unblameable yourself. For example is more prevalent than precepts. Use no reproachful language against anyone, neither curse nor revile. Be not hasty to believe flying reports to the disparagement of any. Wear not your clothes foul, ripped, or dusty, but see they be brushed once every day at least, and take heed that you approach not to any uncleanliness. In your apparel be modest, and endeavor to accommodate nature. Rather than to procure admiration, keep to the fashion of your equals, such as are civil and orderly, with respect to times and places. Run not in the street, nor go too slowly, nor with mouth open. Go not shaking your arms or with a fidgeting motion, nor with a shuffling of the feet. Go not upon the toes, nor in a dancing manner, nor with a high tossing or swaggering motion. Speak not with a full mouth, nor when others are speaking, but wait till your turn. Associate yourself with men of good quality, if you esteem your own reputation. For it is better to be alone than in bad company. In walking up and down in a house, only with one in company if he be greater than yourself. At the first give in the right hand, and stop not till he does, and be not the first that turns. And when you do turn, let it be with your face towards him. If he be a man of great quality, walk not with him cheek by jowl, but somewhat behind him, but yet in such a manner that he may easily speak to you. Let your conversation be without malice or envy, for it is a sign of a tractable and commendable nature. And in all causes of passion, admit reason to govern. Never express anything unbecoming, nor act against your conscience. Be not too rigid in discourse with superiors or inferiors, but endeavor to keep the golden mean. Be not tedious in discourse, but always speak as much as is necessary, and no more. Be not angry at table, whatever happens, and if you have reason to be so, show it not, but on a cheerful countenance, especially if strangers are present. When you speak of God or his attributes, let it be seriously and with reverence. Honor and obey your natural parents, although they be poor. Let your discourse with men of business be short and comprehensive. In your apparel, be modest and endeavor to accommodate nature, rather than to procure admiration. Keep to the fashion of your equals, such as are civil and orderly, with respect to times and places. Associate yourself with men of good quality, if you esteem your own reputation, for it is better to be alone than in bad company. Let your conversation be without malice or envy, for it is a sign of a tractable and commendable nature. And in all causes of passion, admit reason to govern. Be not too rigid in discourse with superiors or inferiors, but endeavor to keep the golden mean. Be not tedious in discourse, but always speak as much as is necessary, and no more. Be not angry at table, whatever happens, and if you have reason to be so, show it not, but on a cheerful countenance, especially if strangers are present. Gaze not on the marks or blemishes of others, and ask not how they came. Speak not in an unknown tongue in company, but in your own language, and that as those of quality do, and not as the vulgar. Sublime matters treat seriously. Think before you speak. Pronounce not imperfectly, nor bring out your words too hastily, but orderly and distinctly. When another speaks, be attentive yourself, and disturb not the audience if any hesitate in his words. Help him not, nor prompt him without desired. Interrupt him not, nor answer him till his speech be ended. In the company of superiors or equals, keep not your hands in your bosom or on your side, but in a modest posture. When you sit down to eat, put not your elbows on the table, nor your hands on your dish or plate. Eat not with greediness, nor with too much eagerness or haste, but take your victuals in a modest and decent manner. Put not your meat to your mouth with your knife in your hand, neither spit forth the stones of any fruit pie upon a dish, nor cast anything under the table. Cleanse not your teeth with the tablecloth, napkin, fork, or knife, but if others do it, let it be done with a pick tooth. Rinse not your mouth in the presence of others. It is uncivil to put any person to trouble or make him wait for you, especially at meals. Make no show of taking great delight in your victuals. Feed not with greediness. Cut your bread with a knife, and do not break it with your hands. Entertaining anyone at table, it is decent to present him with meat. Undertake not to help others undesired by them. If you soak bread in the sauce, let it be no more than what you put in your mouth at a time, and blow not your broth at table, but stay till it cools of itself. Put not your hand to any part of your body when at table. When you have done with your meat or drink, put not your knife or spoon to your mouth, but lay it on your plate or trencher. When you are at table, drink not with your mouth full, nor with your spoon, unless it be very hot. When you have done with your meat or drink, put not your knife or spoon to your mouth, but lay it on your plate or trencher. Make not a noise with your tongue or mouth when you eat or drink. When you are at table, keep not your hands on the table, but in your lap or on the arms of your chair. Scrape not the trenchers or plates with your knife, nor with your spoon. Make no noise with them. Take no salt or bread with your knife greasy. When you are at table, do not blow your nose or pick your teeth with your knife or fork. When you are at table, do not lean on the table or put your elbows on it. Do not dip your meat in the sauce. Do not put your meat into your mouth with your knife. Do not cleanse your teeth with your knife. When you have done with your meat or drink, put not your knife or spoon to your mouth, but lay it on your plate or trencher. When you are at table, keep not your hands on the table, but in your lap or on the arms of your chair. Scrape not the trenchers or plates with your knife, nor with your spoon. Make no noise with them. Take no salt or bread with your knife greasy. When you are at table, do not blow your nose or pick your teeth with your knife or fork. When you are at table, do not lean on the table or put your elbows on it. Do not dip your meat in the sauce. Do not put your meat into your mouth with your knife. Do not cleanse your teeth with your knife. When you have done with your meat or drink, put not your knife or spoon to your mouth, but lay it on your plate or trencher. When you are at table, keep not your hands on the table, but in your lap or on the arms of your chair. Scrape not the trenchers or plates with your knife, nor with your spoon. Make no noise with them. Labor to keep alive in your breast that little spark of celestial fire called conscience.